Join Venus Castleberg as she teleports you to the wonderland of possibilities, where we explore consciousness from the inside out to create a different world, where problems are possibilities and your point of view really does create your reality.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my favorite show on the planet, Wonderland of Possibilities, where anything is possible and magic is real. My name is Venus Castleberg, and I am here again with my lovely friend Merit. How are you, Merit?
I'm so fine. It's so nice that because I'm in Europe time, so it's the evening and it's like exactly evening talk what we have, I think.
Awesome. Well, let's see if we can give people like something to dream about. We're here today to talk about exploring the unknown, UFO sightings and beyond. And welcome everyone who's watching and listening. Good evening.
Yeah, where are you from, people? So.
Pop in, say hello. You can definitely ask questions specifically at any point. Just pop them in the chat. We're happy to contribute to those questions. But I know Merit has a few questions herself, so we're going to go ahead and let her dive into our cosmic exploration.
Should we wait a bit or we start right away?
No, just go. Yep.
Okay. Should I shoot the first question? Do you really believe that there is life out there?
Awesome. Somebody says, we are from South Africa. Welcome from South Africa. I love it. There's apparently life in South Africa.
Yeah, and they are almost my time zone, so we are almost the same in the evening.
Yep. So, well, I mean, I'd like to propose a different question back at you or back at anybody watching. There are billions and billions and billions of stars out there. Do you really think that we are the only planet in billions and billions and billions, maybe even trillions of planets and stars to only have life? That would be really silly to me. Like, I'm like, that like mathematically doesn't make sense, right?
No, definitely not. Definitely. And sometimes I'd say that I'm quite like catching the lots in the films, you know, because in the films people are like creative people are putting what they have seen. Oh, that was a cat. That what they have seen or what they know into something what we all can, you know, like a tap in. And I think that is like mostly fantastic to see how some people can imagine or how what can it be out there.
Well, and thank you for bringing that up, because I think that it's something that I've paid attention to for a long time now. Like, look at television, movies, TV shows, right? And what they show us. Do you remember the old Star Treks when they were like, they had the camcorders, like the little, right? And that was before cellular phones, by the way, right? So how much are the TV shows and the movies showing us a future that's coming and that we just can't perceive in the moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also, well, somehow like we all like see that, and then we tap in this possibility that it's actually possible, right? And that's also really amazing.
But what I would also say is, and it's sad to me from what I know of UFOs and life on other planets, is that they're always depicted as being like dangerous and evil, and like they're going to hurt us. And so there's already this sense of fear instead of this sense of wonderment and amazement, and like the way that
Yeah.
I live is like, how cool would that be, right?
That's so interesting. Is that it's just before I told you that I was also asking my kids that so have you seen some like UFOs? Like they're looking at me first. The question, what's that? It's like, are you okay? But the thing that after that question, when they say no, but they start to also talk about creepy stuff. So it's sitting very deeply in
Right.
in us that you know, we don't know. Then it's very like dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're just taught. I mean, even think about like if we go back 100 years, like how if you were different, it was dangerous to be different, right? Dangerous to be a witch, dangerous to be black, dangerous, you know, it was just dangerous to be different. And I think, I'll be honest, with the fear rate of what the world lives at right now, if I was an alien from another planet, I probably wouldn't want to make myself known, right? Because people still fear a lot of what's different.
Yeah.
Instead of that excitement and embracing the difference. I used to say for a really long time, I stopped saying it because I thought, well, maybe I don't want to create that. But I did tell people, like, I would never get kidnapped and nothing bad would ever happen to me. But if I actually disappeared and there was no trace of me, it just meant the aliens came and said, hey, would you like to come check out our planet? And I was like, heck yeah.
That's true.
Because I always thought that would be really cool. I'm like, how much fun can we have there? So
Exactly. But it's so lovely also because this interest is you really big to look and to try to see what is out there. Even my husband, you know, he's taking photos of the stardusts and stuff like that. You know, he's coming with oh, that's the heart. How we call it? You know, like when there's a star. Well, it's like Andromeda and how you call them?
Andromeda, universes, galaxies.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you give this kind of different colors, what you actually can catch with, well, not so big telescopes and cameras. And that's amazing to see. And also to look and the other planets, for example, Saturn, you know, when they have something round on it, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's only us, you know, it's only our system. It's so little what we can actually see.
Yeah. And how much more is out there, because we can only see, you know, within our own galaxy.
Exactly. That's amazing. So, but as I have some more questions, you know, I can start to ask a bit
Go
more.
for it.
Yeah. Have you ever saw a UFO? I asked my boys; they haven't seen yet. But what about you? Do you have some experience?
I do, actually. I have quite a few. I so at first I would see the ones at night, and a lot of people would, you know how if you see a light at night, almost everybody goes, oh, that's just a plane, right? But I was in Sedona. One that I can really remember very vividly when I was in Sedona is like this light looked like it was dropping out of the sky, and then it went right. It did like a right turn, right? Stop, and then went. And I was like, planes don't do that. Like there's no, if they're dropping out of the sky, that's not good. And they don't suddenly make a right turn. So
no, they don't. They let boom, poof.
yes, exactly. If they're going down, they're not coming back up. So that was my first, like, that I can really remember going, wow, that's different, right? That's and but just like everybody, is still like this question in my universe, and I'm not sure. What did I see? Nobody was there with me, so nobody could validate my own, what I saw.
Yeah.
And then when I was newly a clairvoyant medium, I had a friend who had a lot of experience with UFOs and aliens, and he wrote a whole book on it. And he said, let's go out to the park. And we went out to the park. It was the middle of the day. There was a few clouds in the sky. It was San Diego, so it was sunny, blue sky, floaty little clouds. And he literally, because he had a knowing and a capacity with him, he literally pointed in between the clouds. He goes, just look right in between those clouds that are floating by each other. And you're looking for something that kind of looks like a rod, like a rod. And when he pointed, in that moment that he pointed, 3 crossed each other in between clouds. And I was like, oh my God, did that just happen?
Wow.
And he was like, did you see that? And I was like, I saw that. I can't believe that. It was middle of the day. There was no question. I had somebody there, showing me. And it was wonderful, and I was excited. And then I have to admit, I had a little bit of a paradigm smash after that.
Okay. I can. This is like waking up call, isn't it? Like
Yep.
Oh my God, this dream is stopped now. We are not alone.
Yep. Yeah. And I remember asking him, I'm like, so, what's the deal? Like, why don't we know? Like, why haven't they come down here to say hi? Why haven't, they're like, why is it still kind of this elusive, weird, thing? And he said, they're not allowed to interfere with our evolution. So they can't come down here until, it's known, without like impact, because obviously the impact to me was pretty dramatic, right? And then I was like, oh, I could see that if that was like a kind of a global thing that could cause a
so the evolution should the evolution be so, and in this level that we can actually get it, or something like that.
Wow. Yeah, I think that, and truthfully, like, again, what I was talking about in the beginning, the difference, right? Maybe part of our evolution is for us to get to the point where it's not a problem to be different, and then they can come without being in danger, right? Because the automatic, it's again, in all the movies, the automatic response is somehow the aliens know more. Obviously they have fast ships and they can travel at the speed of light and all that stuff. And Treasure wants to say hi. She sees entities, so I'm sure that there's beings around me right now that we're talking about this. But so if there's fear that they're going to be somehow more powerful than us, then there's a danger of like wars and fighting, and so maybe part of the evolution is that we stop fighting amongst ourselves.
That's true also, that it can be in this world, it can be turned out so critically against each other, because we have still the countries and like a closed communities what thinks that who is better and who is worse, isn't it? So
so eventually I came to peace with it, and just the awareness of like, we're being watched. Oh well, we're being watched by Big Brother too. So do you guys know what Big Brother is? And in Denmark.
Yeah. But it's so amazing because I do remember that well I grew up during the Soviet time, and there was like the paper typed stories about all kind of UFOs and how the Americans have been really bad and not recognizing or hiding and stuff like that. This kind of strange stories, and this time they were shared, really like old paper form, not the books, but really like creepy stuff, and that was so interesting to read them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone saw the cigar on the sky, and some people were away, and some fields had marks and stuff like that. So that was actually really, really interesting.
Yeah, I love crop circles. I've always found those really fascinating. Hello, Derek from Orange Park, Florida. Welcome to. Nice to have you. But yeah, like this. There's nothing really to be afraid of. It's just we just don't understand it. We just don't know it, know about it. But I did hear, and it might be hearsay, but I did hear that some of the governments are actually starting to acknowledge that there is life on, that there are UFOs, and the UFO stands for unidentified flying object. So there are unidentified flying objects out there. So, but what they are, we don't. Well, so I think some people know, and I truly believe that there are aliens living among us. They just have been able to take on the humanoid form. So they don't stand out that. But then there's some that can hide they have the camouflage, like they can camouflage themselves with the surroundings. So
interesting. So do you think that they are just like among us to kind of check on us, or do they have like a secret service of the intergalaxies? or
Men in Black.
Yeah, or just like or just like weirdos who wants to live in the in the human world without coming here like as an infinite being.
Well, think about too, like all the places. I think probably all of that exists. I think there's some that are here because they think it'd be fun to live like us and see what it's like and experience a different sort of life. And some are here to study us, and some are here to maybe protect. Maybe there is some sort of intergalactic protection. That makes sense to me, especially with the that they're not allowed to interfere with our evolution. Then there probably is some sort of governance somewhere that takes care of that or watches over that. But that part I don't know. I can only speak to my own personal experiences. But that's.
But then when so are they also just like entities without the bodies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I first started becoming a clairvoyant medium, like I said, I had this guy in my life, and so he was training me or helping me learn how to see the spirit realm with my physical eyes. So I would practice seeing with my physical eyes, and we were actually in church one day, and obviously whatever was being said wasn't that entertaining, because I decided I was going to start practicing with my sight. And I could see like cherubs and the normal things you'd think you'd see in a church. But then all of a sudden this like pink, the alien pictures that you see, but they're like big eyes and they're usually gray. This one was pink and she had big eyes. And I like literally grabbed my friend's leg and I'm like, there's a pink alien here. like this is all like really new to me, and I was so excited, but I was also a little frightened and not sure. So, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's grandma." I'm like, "Grandma?" like what? So we talked at length, but apparently he knew her. Like, and again, I was so grateful to have him in my life at that time because he would just confirm the things that I saw. And then I was like, okay, wow, I'm really not crazy. And I really am seeing this stuff. So
it's so funny that how humans are, isn't it? That you have to have the other one who is confirming you that.
No, because we all think we're crazy. And I'll just say this right now. If you're watching this and you have, like, you're not crazy. The things that you've seen, the things that you know, you're not crazy. It's just different and it's not mainstream. So, you think you're crazy, but you're not. You just happen to be able to see or perceive things that other people can't or other people won't. Because I think everybody can, but I know a lot of people just choose to keep their blinders on. And I was one of those people too for a long time. I did drugs so that I could see.
Avoid.
Yeah, so I could avoid.
Yeah. But are you from some other planet? Yeah, but there is some people, as I'm talking, like, okay, that actually I know that my soul or something or my at least I have the connection or experience like underwater planet or kind of like that or something else like so it can be.
Yeah. Well, my name is Venus, so what do you think? That's a really far-fetched one. That's probably so not that far-fetched.
So far.
Yeah, it's very interesting that my name is Venus. I was like, oh, okay. And I've had such throughout my life. I just remember just being like, so being Star Trek has always been my favorite. Star Trek, Star Wars, like they were all everything to do with life on other planets. Favorite shows, favorite.
Wow.
So there was definitely something that was always pulling at me.
Okay, that's interesting. No, oops. Oh my God. So what about sometimes we are talking about in Access we are talking about embrace the dark side of the moon, or so like for me it's like talking about the like a dark matter or darkness or this this huge emptiness which is not empty at all, which is full of possibilities and stuff like that. How or what those other life forms are connecting to these possibilities and all this kind of so it's so difficult to find the question there actually, but to talk about this enormous possibilities what are out there, how come that they that there is someone who is like deciding that they cannot contact us? How?
Well, again, I can only speak to I don't know all of that, but what I would hypothesize is that just like and we've talked about this if you've watched the other videos about entities, right? Entities are beings without bodies. Well, there are dark entities and there are light entities, right? So there are dark aliens and light aliens as well, right? There's again, in billions and billions of planets, there's going to be nice ones and there's going to be not nice ones. So what was my understanding was that part of the rules and the laws is that aliens can't interfere with us, but they also, like dark ones, are also kept from coming here to destroy us or interfere. So there's still this, like, again, I would call them maybe a galactic federation or something like that keeps them from basically coming in, but yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but just this, like, knowing that all energies exist no matter where you're from. Right.
Yeah. It's also this that even sometimes I think that the dark as a word is sometimes used like in those polarity level. It means that the dark, the light, it's sometimes it's not the polarity, because the dark might be the place where there's no shadow, at least. You have a purest light in the dark, because there is nothing actually. Every time where you will have a light, there will be a shadow somewhere.
Yeah.
It's the huge possibility there.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way of looking at it. And it reminds us, basically, especially with the tools of access consciousness, is there is no right or wrong, good or bad. So when I use the word light and dark, it's kind of like, there's, like you said, when the sun goes down, it's dark. When the sun comes up, it's light. So it's not wrong when the sun goes down, and it's not right when the sun comes up. But all energies are required, right? For us to have the cycles of life, you're going to have light and dark. You're going to have, So, but what if it's more like the light cannot exist without the dark, and the dark cannot exist without the light? Like, it's all the same. Yeah.
Exactly. It's so pure. And also there's, for example, when you take the really beautiful phenomena on the earth, when you have darkness and you have, for example, northern lights, or you have you can see actually the Milky Way, because it's so dark. I'm actually quite a lot against or looking in the cities where there's too much, like a light pollution, because you hardly see the stars. What? You have to go out, to really enjoy this darkness.
Yeah. So what if it would have, again, if we could just embrace the difference and not make it a right or wrong, it's just different, right?
No.
Somebody with colored skin is not wrong.
Even with a white skin is not wrong,
Wrong, yeah, white, right. But also what we've seen in our history, and maybe it's not as prevalent now, but is that white is right and dark is wrong. It's like, no.
It's like,
there is, and I think this is where I would just leave it. Like, what if we could just embrace the difference, and nothing is right or wrong, good or bad. It's just different.
Yes, and better be lots of this different,
Well, with 8 billion people on the planets, and then however many billions of planets out there with life, it definitely does open up a lot of difference. So maybe part of our evolution has been like, we're still trying to manage the difference that's just on this planet, instead of just being one and embracing the oneness. Having our own uniqueness, of course, but not from separation or wrongness or, So.
Yeah. Wow.
What else would be possible if we could embrace all of it?
Yes,
without a point of view?
Yeah. True. all the experience, all the possibilities.
Yes. Awesome.
Mm.
Well, thank you, my dear. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. Just this little teaser about UFO sightings and beyond. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you, Merritt. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.